Hello, everyone. I am really excited to introduce you to Kiyan Banuri. He is a Pakistan-American Muslim. He is a Tufts University student, and I'm proud to say he is a staffer on Team Devin here as part of the campaign staff. So I'm really excited to introduce you to Kiyan as part of this special episode of Plug into Devin. So stick around. You don't want to miss this. Kiyan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. I got to ask you before we really get started, have you ever been to Pakistan?
Unfortunately, I have not been to Pakistan, but
Yeah.
we intend to this coming year, hopefully.
Oh, good, good. I visited in 2016. It was an amazing experience, amazing experience. Of course, delicious food and a wonderful place in so many ways. So I can't wait to hear about your experiences in Pakistan. You'll probably have a much better experience than I did, but I loved it. Cool place.
Thank you.
Well, Kiyan, what do you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about being Muslim during Ramadan and the COVID-19 pandemic.
Tell us about that experience. What does that all feel like to you?
Sure. So for me, Ramadan has always been part of my life. Before my family celebrated Christmas just because we were American or, really knew what Thanksgiving was. I remember my parents getting up before sunrise and getting ready, meal prepping for not only the evening, but as well as the following morning to fast all day. Nowadays that I'm old enough to be able to fast every single day, it is something that is so spiritually important to me, as well as knowing that my ancestors have done this exact same thing across space and time. It's just a very important month for me.
Yeah, yeah, that is amazing. I imagine it provides a deep spiritual connection to your community and your ancestors. That's an amazing perspective. So, for people who may not know, there are probably a few left. Tell them a little bit about the observance of Ramadan.
Sure. So Ramadan lasts for about 30 days every single year, and it is based on the lunar calendar, so it shifts. And basically, it is a month where Muslims abstain from food and drink, but they also abstain from other pleasures. So, like a modern context is, I can't listen to music while I do my homework, or I can't watch Netflix too much. So that time you spent doing pleasurable activities, you then instead spend it on just trying to reconnect with God, praying 5 times a day. And it is all celebrated with Eid at the end of the month.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Now, do you sometimes experience people who are intolerant or unkind or just ignorant with respect to your experience as being a Muslim in America, especially now during COVID and Ramadan?
Sure. So I experience a lot of ignorance just because I understand that at least when I move to certain places, people don't really know what being Muslim is, what our traditions, what our cultures are, how the prayers work, and what is respectful and what is not respectful. Of course, some incidences of hatred have come up, mainly due to, I think, a lot of different media outlets will portray Islam in a criminalizing or demeaning behavior. So, like, I remember in middle school, people called me Terry, which was meant to be short for terrorist, and I didn't really know until the last day of middle school. And just stuff like that. You get associated with the wrong thing. So, the New York Times, when they announced that there was a travel ban to Europe because of the pandemic, they decided to put a picture of a mosque, not the social distancing done in Italy or hospitals in the UK, but a mosque in Turkey that was not included in the ban. So we just get associated incorrectly with all these things, and I think that it does impact a lot of Muslims in America.
Yeah, it's hard for um, a white middle-aged man like me to always understand how it must feel to be part of a group that is marginalized intentionally or otherwise so often. And so I appreciate you sharing that with us. What would you ask people to do to become more aware, sensitive, or kind to your community?
I would ask people to firstly get to know the Muslims around them. You know, as I was a student, elementary, middle school, and high school student, I didn't really discuss, praying every single day. I didn't discuss our holidays. In fact, I remember in elementary school, my mom had brought cookies for Eid to my elementary school class, and I remember being so embarrassed because I didn't want to tell them what the name of the holiday was because I thought Eid was an embarrassing name. So just being able to ask them about it and being interested in their culture. I know a lot of people also decide to visit mosques during this time. The mosques are very open in you observing how prayers are done and observing the aftermath of prayers. So just getting to know the Muslim community.
Excellent. Well, Kiyan, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Before you go, one quick question. What is your superpower?
My superpower. I think, so I did debate in high school and I can speak over 400 words per minute.
Oh my gosh. That is a superpower. That is incredible. I think we can only think at 200 or 300 words per minute. So that's amazing. You can speak faster than you can think. Of course, I do that all the time. Kiyan, before you go, tell people how they can learn more about you and how they can connect with you on social media and stuff.
Sure. So I have Facebook. It's just my first name dot last name. And my Instagram is just K and then my last name, so K Banuri. And if you're interested in the Muslim community or just me, you can email me at my first name, last name at gmail.com.
That's fantastic. Well, Kiyan, again, thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate your efforts on my team. You've been a great contributor and we're glad to have you. And we wish you every success in your education and especially in your work.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Let's be bold together. I'm Devin Thorpe. For the last 8 years, I've been working full-time to eradicate extreme poverty, improve global health, and fight climate change. I've concluded that the best way for me to continue my work is to run for Congress to represent the people of Utah's 3rd District. In Utah, we have common shared values. Those things unite us. I believe passionately in our ability to come together, and I believe that working together, we can solve Utah's problems. I'm Devin Thorpe. I'm a Democrat. I'm running to represent the people of Utah's 3rd District. I'm Devin Thorpe, a candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.